Dibakar, you've spoken in the past about, in fact, I read an interview of yours where you spoke about the star doesn't play the character, he's always in character. You can't expect him to play a character. That he, which is a very interesting way of looking at it. Can you explain that in the sense of...
No, he essentially plays himself, and which is a collection of the idealization of the audience's expectations. I mean, my answer would be more germane to your question to Zoya. I would say that a star works the best in a society that's not really programmed to think things out for itself. A star in India would have much more power than a star in the US or in Germany. Though there are stars there too.
Yeah, and Shah Rukh Khan is a star in Germany too, apparently.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, nowhere the kind of star he would be in India, but he is there because Bollywood has a certain afternoon slot currency there amongst middle-aged housewives, so that's another phenomenon altogether. And young girls who want to then learn Bollywood steps. But a star works because a star works best in a society, according to me, which is essentially a feudal society, which kind of projects all its hopes and aspiration on a family or a dynasty or a particular hero who comes from that family or dynasty, or a particular person who has proclaimed that he has all those qualities. Now, it could be looks. It also could be a certain way of behavior, which is he would always be anti-establishment. Therefore, the star of the 70s. Or he would always come from a rich family. Therefore, the star of the 90s. Or he would always be in love. You can't imagine a certain kind of a star not being in love. But we can't imagine a human being always in love. I mean, do you spend all your life being in love? No. But a star, actually, from the first moment of the film to the last moment of the film, is always in love. So he's acting out various parts of our lives and various parts of our dreams and aspirations, according to me. Right? It's all about praising the alpha male. It's all about praising, it's all about following the alpha male. It's all about following the leader of the pack. It's all about following the top of the aristocratic family chain. And there is a variant of that, which is it's all about following the anti-establishment leader, like an Amitabh Bachchan of the 70s, in his own way, who at heart is an aristocrat. So you can look up to him and say, okay, though he's, coming from the road and he's a criminal or he's a middle-class cop or whatever it is, at heart, he's got the values that a king may have. So I may follow him even if he wears a sweaty t-shirt. That's cool, so that's how it is.
What does that mean for filmmaking in general? I'll come to you, Ashif, first. You put together this film with 4 filmmakers who, among film buffs in India, are stars in their own right. The only reason anybody would walk into Bombay Talkies is because they've all loved previous works of Dibakar, Zoya, Anurag, and to some extent, Karan Johar as well. You didn't go for movie stars. And that is pretty interesting. Did that work out for you well? Do you see that that star system may be breaking at this point because somehow directors are also getting their own right as they representing a certain kind of films, and therefore people will walk into that film expecting a Dibakar Banerjee film, just as they go to a Salman Khan film expecting a Salman Khan film?
When I thought of the concept, that's not what I thought of, that I will have directors who will have a following and hence people will watch the film that they're going to. But when these 4 directors came together and they decided to do Bombay Talkies, is, I don't know about starting a movement or starting anything. We didn't use any actors of our film to even promote our film. But I really hope that people start watching films because they know, oh, the content of this film is good, the director is good, the story seems good, and yes, there is some actor in the film which you like as well. But you can't, that's what I'm hoping, just as an individual, that, Salman and Shah Rukh films will always work. But I really hope that if they think that this story is good and the director who's made it, they think that he has some credibility to himself, or he might just be a good director and they come and watch the film just for that, I think it'll really help a lot of us here who are trying to make films based on just good content. And that was the idea of the film. when they decided to write the stories that they did, they didn't tell me, Zoya didn't say that I'm going to, I mean, if she had Katrina or she didn't have Katrina, it didn't matter. It was about her story and she was directing it and it was going to be a good story. Similarly for everybody else, it didn't matter if we had stars in this film or didn't. We just wanted to have good stories made by these 4 filmmakers, and that was important.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the whole team. I was fortunate enough to watch today, and it is absolutely fabulous. It did remind me, I really think so, I think a big hand for all of you. It did remind me about a Sandra Bullock movie that I had been Oscar nominated, and I think it won the Oscar. It was 4 short films. I don't know if anyone knows about it. In any case, my request is that this movie should be sent for the Oscars. So, also,
as far as I know, the films that are sent for the Oscars are not requested upon in this country. There is a wholly different way of choosing those films. Very broad and hammy symbolization. He says, "Na, ke I am, ab main yahi rehta hu." While we were discussing that film, and again, this is a documentary process, we researched local Marathi theatre. And his character is based on a real theatre guru in Lal Bagh Parel, where I live, who died while performing on stage. He did Marathi theatre like Nat Samrat. He also did Gondal. Gondal is a folk Marathi, do you guys know about it? Some of you? Yeah. So he did both. So the fact is that a lot of local theatre, a lot of local theatre traditions have been pushed aside by the juggernaut version of Bollywood over the last 20 years. So a lot of these people feel as if they have been kind of relegated to the dustbin. So that's it. I mean, hammy symbolization, that's all.
Hello. I want to ask one question. In your film, there is a long shot when Nawazuddin is doing something, and the duration of the long shot is pretty much long. Why is that so? And second question is that in Shanghai movie, at the last scene when Mr. Abhay Deol is walking, there is a pretty much unconventional beep sound is there. So what is the reason behind that?
I'll take the last question first. That's just a fade in into the beep sound of the hospital where Proshenjit's character is dying.
Okay.
And what we did was we made the beep sound a part of the music that bridges Abhay's walk with the death sequence in the hospital. So we started with the beep. Then if you remember, the music creeps in beat with the beep.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. And the first question, it was long because what you're asking is that the long shot, as in a shot which is from far away,
yeah,
which is actually a wide shot.
Yeah.
Why the duration is so long, and why haven't I cut to a close up of that guy?
Yeah.
Basically because there was no need to, because I wanted to cut to the close up of Nawaz after he had read the dialogue on the piece of the paper, that chota sa dialogue jo hai. And that cut is dramatic according to me today, is because there is no other cut before that. You see him practice, then with a lot of anticipation he takes out the paper, then he freezes. You're still on the long shot, then you cut to his face, and that's when you see the disappointment. So from a very small guy who's rehearsing, he becomes very big on screen, and therefore his emotion hits you very starkly. I mean, that was the attempt. So my intention is, your question is a good question. My intention is to try and not cut until there is a solid reason to cut. That's the only thing I'm trying to get at. That's all.
I'm a great fan of yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Divakar, I think I love your film. Your film in particular.
Zindagi Na Mile Dobara. I inspired a lot by your movies. And,
Thank you.
Yeah. And question is for Ashi Dua. Actually, it's a 4 big directors and 4 short films and backed by Viacom 18. What do you think? Do you think that in future there would be a trend where independent filmmakers would come with a short films and it would be backed by a big, studios or Viacom 18?
I don't think so. It's tough. But this was tough as well. But I was at it for a while, and I think having these 4 names helped, honestly. And it is tough for an independent director, producer, anybody to make a short film like this and have a theatrical release in India. It is tough.
It's easier than anywhere else in the world, but if you have a very cheap budget, if you have a good premise, and you can hustle your way into the attention span of the studio executive, there is much better chance of making an interesting film in India today than it is in Europe or America.
Sir, I want to ask to you and Zoya ma'am that when you make a new film, you imagine a character in it, and you have many actors in Bollywood who are known, and they are very, very good actors. And first option is that you think that this actor can do it good because he has potential and he is known also. And second option is that you think that no, I should conduct an audition and search for another character. So what's the probability that you choose the first option or second option?
See, it really comes down to money. It comes down to, I mean, yeah, you have your first option, and that's somebody who's going to be saleable, and that's somebody that you think is perfect for the role, and then you don't get him, and then you're like, I don't like anyone else, and I'd rather go with somebody new. But maybe if your budget is beyond a certain number, you can't afford to go with somebody new because that person won't bring that money back. So then you have to cast according to how much money, it's economics. Yeah.
Just to give you an example, let's say Love, Sex or Dhoka, if it had cost even 50 lakhs more than its budget, 1 crore more than its budget of 1.5 crores, which is very cheap for a full-length film, I wouldn't have that much independence to cast all newcomers. So, let's say you're doing your first film, so you won't get even 1.5 crores because I've done 2 films before LSD. If you can think of a fantastic premise of a 90-minute to 100-minute film, which costs 50 lakhs to make without any compromise in the idea or the execution, your film will be made by the studio, provided you are a good hustler who goes on hustling for it for about a year. That's the absolute concrete sort of clue that I'm giving you.
Hello, sir. First of all, congratulations. Yes, I'm very sure everyone was under the spell while just looking at it. My question is, what is one thing you would suggest every upcoming filmmaker? That what thing should they keep in mind while making their film? Like, what is one thing which makes you Dibakar Banerjee and you Zoya Akhtar? Like, what should be the inspiration for them?
Go first.
Okay, so it's a tricky one. The inspiration for me the one thing for me to become a filmmaker was that I knew that I was zilch at anything else. I knew I didn't have a chance of surviving if I didn't make films. So for me, it's more of a question of survival. Because when I left advertising in the mid-90s, I started making ad films. There were still films. So I wanted to be close to films and make films. And this was not a dabbling for me. I didn't like making films. I didn't think films were good or cool or anything like that. It was a survival issue for me. It was like food and sleep. You know, I needed to make films. If most of you or a few of you can have that thing, then you don't even need an inspiration. You know, it's like survival.
I don't think that was the question, actually. What is that your question?
That is actually, I wanted to ask, what is one thing which makes you, and you?
Survival instinct, I guess. That's your answer.
I don't know what is the one thing that makes me, actually. I don't know. I think that will be better defined by people around me. I think I go between being very aware and being blissfully unaware of a lot of things in my personality, and I think that kind of saves me. Because if I start getting very conscious of what I am and what I'm saying and what I'm doing, I'll just ruin any instinct that I have. But I think at the same time, you can't be so unaware that you're just mindless. So I think it's a balance, I think.
One last question. Okay,
Actually, I have two questions.
go for it.
My first question is for Zoya ma'am. Being a woman filmmaker, are there any different challenges you had to face in this industry?
Ma'am, I really have nothing to compare it with. I've always been female, contrary to belief. I really don't know. I don't know if it's been a special struggle. I don't know.
Okay. To Ashi ma'am, being a person without a filmy background, how differently you struggled for this position and how differently you had to fight? Because most of the people, successful people in this industry belongs to some filmy background. So
I've just made one film and I don't know. The next film will again be a struggle. I know that. And I don't think I mean, yeah, obviously it helps if you know people and if you know things, but I didn't think when I came up with Bombay Talkies that I am not from the film industry and how will this happen. I just wanted to make it happen and I went for it. So those thoughts didn't come to me. But I don't know, the next film again will be a struggle and you're ready for it. You start all over again, you make another film happen and that's how it'll be forever. So, yeah.
One last. Devavi, you want to choose? Okay.
Hello, I'm so sorry. But I think this question might be in the mind of many people who have seen your film. I mean, when we are seeing that movie, somewhere or the other, all of us want that somewhere all these stories should connect at the end. Like Zoya ma'am said, that everybody knew what they were making. So I mean, you might have your concept behind it to have 4 short films. Like when we are going to watch Bombay Talkies, it's like the first movie and then it fades out and again comes up. So could we have, I mean, you people would have had a connection between all the 4 stories, or that was not the idea at all?
It's too much work. Too much work. Because if you take 4 short stories and you need, and I have personal experience because I've made a film where there are 3 different stories which are connected. Love, Sex and Dhoka. It's too much work. None of us have the kind of bandwidth and time to get off our projects and sit with each other and make 4 independent stories which connect in a very rewarding manner. So I would say that the better thing was to have those 4 different stories, and yet there is a connection. There is a thematic connection. Because I think the best connections happen which are slightly under your consciousness. So if you see all the 4 films without us having planned for it, all the 4 films are about the effect of cinema on the common man and the audience and the huge hypnotic role that Indian cinema plays in our lives. It also speaks for the poverty of our lives, you know, that we were nothing else. But whatever it is, so I think this was unconscious, but that connection was there. Yes, we could have plotted a positive, an overt connection through scripting and all that, but I think Ashi would have aged another 5 years before that film. And I think the 105th anniversary of Indian cinema is not so cool to make a short film.
A huge thank you to our panelists. Let's have a round of applause for them. As token of appreciation for Whistling Woods, we've just got some small gifts for them. All right, thank you very much.
Please stand there.
जो न्यूकमर्स फिल्में बनाना चाहते हैं, पैशन के अलावा अगर उन्हें आप किस तरह से टिप्स देना चाहिए, क्या क्या चीज़?
I mean, there is no one set way to make a movie. I mean, I know people that have made movies in various ways. Today it's much easier. I think you should write a script, know what you want to do, register it, go out there, do the rounds, meet people. There's no rule. I can't give you one pattern. Just stick to what you know. Write about what you know.
Sir, how did you like Farhan from it to tell us? Because we loved it, his look and all that. How did you like it?
I think it's fantastic. I'm really excited to watch the film. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. जो लड़के जिनको बॉलीवुड में आना चाहते हैं, फिल्म मेकिंग में काम करना चाहते हैं या किसी और एस्पेक्ट, क्या एक चीज़ उन्हें होनी चाहिए, पैशन क्या है?
मेरी तो एक ही सलाह रहेगी कि आसान नहीं है, और अगर आपको जल्दी कामयाबी ना मिले इस लाइन में तो ये याद रखिएगा कि आपके पिताजी ने आपको इंजीनियर बनने को ही कहा था, और आप अपनी इच्छा से इस लाइन में घुसे, तो किसी को ब्लेम ना करें। मैं पहले से बता रहा हूँ, बहुत कंपटीशन है, और जब तक आपके अंदर का जुनून इतना स्ट्रांग ना हो कि सारी बाधाओं को वो पार कर सके, तब तक आप सक्सेसफुल फिल्म मेकर नहीं बन सकते। तो अगर आए तो जुनून से आए, किसी की नकल करने ना आए कि मेरे को उस तरह का फिल्म मेकर बनना है, मेरे को स्टार के साथ मेरे को दिखना है, मेरे को इतने पैसे कमाने हैं। फिल्म मेकर्स फिल्म बनाते हैं और इसलिए वो आते हैं फिल्म बनाने। तो अंदर का जो जुनून है वो बहुत ज़रूरी है, उसके बिना नहीं बन सकती फिल्म। उसके बिना मैं एडवाइस करूँगा कि आप अच्छी नौकरी करें, MBA करें और अच्छी फैमिली बनाएं और अपना टाइम करें, लेकिन फिल्म मेकिंग इज़ नॉट ईजी।
अच्छा, एक सवाल मैं अंदर वो पूरा वर्कशॉप मैंने अटेंड भी किया। आइटम सॉन्ग को क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है कि लेकिन उसके बिना उसको अवॉइड भी नहीं किया जाता। कई सारी फिल्में ऐसी होती हैं जो मसाला एंटरटेनमेंट है, उसमें वो आइटम नंबर एज यूज किया जाता है, तो वो जो एक नजरिया लोगों में बनता है, उसके बारे में आपका
दोनों, हाँ कैमरा, दोनों नज़रिए वैलिड है, क्योंकि इस देश में ऐसे बहुत से करोड़ों लोग हैं जो आइटम सॉन्ग देखना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि उस आइटम सॉन्ग में ऐसा बहुत कुछ होता है जो उनको उनकी ज़िंदगी में नहीं मिलता। तो अगर आइटम सॉन्ग के ज़रिए उनको वो मिल जाता है तो अच्छी बात है। और कुछ लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं कि आइटम सॉन्ग से हम अपनी संस्कृति को बिगाड़ रहे हैं या कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं तो यही कहूँगा कि जो भी कुछ हमारे साथ हो रहा है, अच्छा या बुरा, वो हमारी संस्कृति का पार्ट ही है, और अगर कुछ बदलना है तो संस्कृति को बदलना चाहिए। संस्कृति एक कोई ठोस कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है कि जो किसी और चीज़ को सह ले। संस्कृति बदल जाएगी तो आइटम नंबर भी बदल जाएंगे। Right now, I'm just writing for my next film, and I don't know when we're gonna sort of,
Do we see Shanghai 2 or any of your films?
I don't think I've announced a sequel so far, and the plans are not to do so for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.